This is gross that it didn't become a bigger story, and that more people. I mean, has MSNBC hasn't said anything about it? It would be awkward,
MSNBC,
right?
wait, I'll say one thing, and this is what I really want to know. And if any of my DMs are open, if anyone wants to send me a helpful hint. So a certain MSNBC host who used to work for the John McCain campaign, which also John Weaver worked for John McCain. John Weaver was his chief political strategist, I believe. And Meghan McCain said, we hated you, whatever, which is fine. But John Weaver and Steve Schmidt both worked for the McCain campaign. What's her face from MSNBC? She was on The View, and now she's on MSNBC, and her name is literally slipping my mind as I'm trying to. Nicole Wallace. Yeah. Nicole Wallace had Lincoln Project people on her show many times after my article came out on January the 11th, until the New York Times story came out. She never questioned them once. I would love to know, having a professional work relationship with John Weaver at several times during your career, did you know anything? And if you did know anything, then why didn't you say anything? And if you didn't know anything, then still, wouldn't you ask about that when you had them? The CNN and MSNBC had the Lincoln Project people on 21 times from January 11th to January 31st, between my article and the New York Times article. Never asked them once. And I would love to ask Nicole Wallace, more than anything else in the world, what did you know? And why didn't you sit there and say anything? I'm more curious of her than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, if you're watching this, Nicole Wallace, feel free to come on the show, talk to us, or just, respond to this. Like, you should all be like, give people the respect of pretending to care. Like pay your respects that way. Like, obviously you don't. But yeah. Well, and it's just so funny because it's like these are the people who traffic in being the decent people, right? Like that was
their whole thing, is where we would stand for honesty and decency and transparency. And we want people to have accountability and shared accountability. And right now they want the least thing in the world they want is shared accountability. Absolutely, less than anything else in the entire world is shared accountability. And I would like to know the Daily Beast is going to continue Rick Wilson's podcast.
Right. Because the most charitable read of him, right, would be he worked for a place and didn't know. Here, can we play this quickly? I want your expertise on this. Let's watch what Rick Weaver actually said. Okay, can you hear that?
Over the weekend, on Sunday, the New York Times published a story about John Weaver, one of the 7 co-founders of the Lincoln Project. That story was about contacts with John that began in 2014 while he was working for John Kasich with a young man of 14 years. This was the first time we had heard this story. First time we'd had any information about John contacting a child. And I have to tell you, it shocked us, disgusted us. It left us in a state of absolute just dread over the fact that a child could have been victimized by John Weaver. He kept up that relationship for 5 years, apparently, until the child was an adult. Doesn't excuse it, doesn't make it better, makes it worse. John was using his power and position and prestige to try to manipulate young gay men. It wasn't that John was gay. I don't care about that. It was that John was trying to manipulate people using the positions he had in presidential campaigns and then in the Lincoln Project. It's unacceptable in every dimension. Every one of us rejects it utterly. When the stories that had hit a few weeks ago, when John confessed to these inappropriate and unprofessional contacts and attempting to trade, his favor for favors, we were just, it was over right then. No matter what he had denied prior to this at any point, it didn't matter. He confessed it. It was done. We terminated our relationship immediately. We were blunt about it. It was done. But this story was something that.
Wait, could you pause it 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Wish we'd had
he's saying right now we terminated our relationship immediately. And in a previous interview, he said that he had not worked there since his heart attack in August. So once again, not telling the truth on both things and being caught up in it. That's first of all. And secondly, the New York Times story was once again 3 weeks beforehand, if you listen to him, he's talking constantly about the 14-year-olds, not about any of the people who were over the age of 18, but who we preyed upon as well. So go up, keep playing.
Immediately. We were blunt about it. It was done. But this story was something that I wish we'd had some knowledge of it. I wish we'd known somehow, some way.
Wait, pause it one more time.
Into that vortex of secrets.
He's saying right now, I wish we knew about it prior to that. And just 3 seconds ago, he said it didn't matter what he denied to us previously. So
okay, hold on. Let's see. So you're saying that they knew. You're saying that. Hold on.
He's saying right now. He said. He said right there. He said, "I wish we knew something before this." And then right before that says, "It doesn't matter what John denied previously." Those are two things he said in this one video. Right. Once again, go ahead.
That story was about.
You can go back to the
contacts with John that began in 2014 while he was working for John Kasich with a young man of 14 years.
Yeah, you
This is the first time we'd heard this story. First time we'd had any information about John contacting a child. And I have to tell you, it shocked us, disgusted us. It left us in a state of absolute just dread over the fact that a child could have been victimized by John Weaver. He kept up that relationship for 5 years, apparently.
Once again, he said the first time of hearing it with a child.
Doesn't excuse it.
Not the first time he's heard of it, the first time he's heard of a child.
Worse.
It's very careful.
John was using his power and position and prestige to try to manipulate young gay men. It wasn't that John was gay. I don't care about that.
That's so.
It was that John was trying to manipulate people using the positions he had in presidential campaigns and then in the Lincoln Project. It's unacceptable in every dimension. Every one of us rejects it utterly. When the stories that had hit a few weeks ago, when John confessed to these inappropriate and unprofessional contacts and attempting to trade, his favor for favors, we were just, it was over right then. No matter what he had denied prior to this at any point,
yes,
it didn't matter.
The part.
He confessed it. It was
he
done.
denied prior to that. That's the point. He's saying it doesn't matter what John Weaver's denied prior to when this story came out. So what did he deny prior? Clearly, Rick Wilson says, I don't care that he's gay.
Right.
So that's not what the denial would be, because he doesn't care. The denial is over some kind of contact he's making. So when Rick Wilson says, I knew nothing about it, he's clearly stating there was something because he had to John Weaver had to deny something for him to know something.
Right.
Ray to know something for John to deny something. What did he know? And him saying I was at the clear blue sky. I genuinely believe that Rick Wilson did not know about the 14-year-olds because of the months of work I did, I could not find anyone who was a minor in the first 6 months.
Right.
So I do believe, but he's saying it's the first time I heard him talk about a child. Right. He constantly references back to the 14-year-old as his plausible deniability. Which I do believe he doesn't know about that 14-year-old. But did he know about any of the adults? And that's the question.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the 20-year-olds. Yeah. No. I just DM'd you something too, by the way, in case you want to.
I'll check it right now. All right.
I'm going to cover both. I'm going to go to this thing. Okay.
Hit a few weeks ago when John confessed to these inappropriate and unprofessional contacts and attempting to trade, his favor for favors. We were just, it was over right then. No matter what he had denied prior to this at any point, it didn't matter. He confessed it. It was done. We terminated our relationship immediately. We were blunt about it. It was done. But this story was something that I wish we'd had some knowledge of it.
Right.
I wish we'd known somehow, some way. I wish we could have peered into that vortex of secrets that defined his life and known he was engaged in conduct with a 14-year-old boy at any point. I don't care if it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 25 years ago. The reaction would have not been, John, what do you do? It would be, John, stand by. We're calling law enforcement, because it's an outrage. And I say this not as a co-founder of the Lincoln Project I say this as a dad.
Right.
And Stephen Reed and I are all fathers. Steve and I have kids.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Once again, 14-year-old referencing back to the 14-year-old concept. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's an outrage. And I say this not as a co-founder of the Lincoln Project. I say this as a dad. And Stephen Reed and I are all fathers. Steve and I have kids. He's got a son who's 14. I've got a son who's 22. I mean, these kids they're so close to the age of the people John was prowling after. It's just insane, and it makes me furious. And I got to say this: John's behavior with these kids left a string of people who he victimized in varying degrees and capacities, and so many of them were intimidated into silence because he was a powerful man. For 4 years now, my kids have been victimized. They've been stalked, they've been harassed, they've had rape threats and death threats because I opposed Donald Trump. And that's a burden they had to bear. And they've been great kids, and they're amazing kids.
This is Twitter stuff, but
the thought of this guy doing this to other people's kids, it sickens me to the core, and all of us. And it sickens me even more that he was so profoundly dishonest for so long to so many people, and was so good at hiding his true self. And I'm sure John's watching this now, and he's angry, and he feels like he's being called out and called something he disagrees with. Well, tough shit. Okay? He has earned this. He has earned every bit of this. We're an organization that believes in accountability. We're going to hold ourselves accountable for letting someone like this slip past the gates, and it'll never happen again. This mission is too important. The work we've done is too important. Millions of Americans have entrusted us to help lead a fight against an anti-American and anti-democratic movement. They trusted us to help lead a fight against Donald Trump and Trumpism. It's a fight that isn't over yet. We still have these people trying to regain power, and the attacks that are coming on us from Donald Trump Jr. and all these other people, they're gleeful. They love the gift that John Weaver gave them. They're delighted by it. They're dying for us to in some way defend John Weaver or to tell you we knew in some way. But I will never, ever be able to replicate the pain we felt learning this on Sunday when that article hit. It was intense.
The pain
we didn't feel it just as guys in a political organization. We felt it as dads and fathers. We felt it as one of the people in our organization immediately got death threats against her 2 5-year-old kids. I mean, what he's given them is a weapon in their hands, but we have a different weapon. We have truth, commitment, and a passion for this mission that we're on, that we will not let John Weaver's behavior alter. We will not let what he did change our intention and our commitment to the millions of people who've supported us. This mission goes on. We will be in it every day. We will never stop fighting for this country. We love and appreciate so many people who have come to our side, who've walked with us, who fought for us, who've donated us, who've helped us, who've carried our message and our mission forward. It is too important. It is vital that we move this country forward away from Trumpism. They only need to win one more election ever, and it's all gone. So we're going to keep this fight up. We want to say to the victims of John Weaver, the people that he exploited, the people that he attempted to manipulate, if you want to come to us and speak out, speak to us. If you want to speak out in public, speak out in public. If you want to talk to the news media, talk to the news media. We encourage you to do so.
Okay, wait. Stop right there.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. He says, if you want to talk to the news media, talk to the news media. 6 members of Lincoln Project. This is, by the way, this is before he doxes his coworker, or not him, but his organization leaks hacked messages on Twitter. 6 members of the Lincoln Project write an anonymous letter saying we would like to get out of our NDAs so that way we could speak to the media about what we knew about John Weaver, and at least one publicly was denied. So
yeah, but that Ryan, they're committed.
They're committed to
They're
truth
so
and
committed
honesty.
to saving the Republic. They promised people that they would save it. They promised it. And, people said terrible things about his kids on Twitter. Totally random people who don't make people job offers or build their careers said terrible things on Twitter to his kids. So he gets it.
It is. And it's once again, like with Rick Wilson, like with Steve Schmidt's thing, it's about them and really how they have been victimized by John Weaver.
Yeah.
John Weaver, how they were made to feel about John Weaver.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, Steve Schmidt didn't have to. Luckily, he wasn't asked about this, right?
No, not by Bill Maher.
By Bill Maher.
Not by Bill Maher, and I don't think publicly by anybody. So
disgusting.
I just but it's once again, John Weaver made him feel bad. Made Rick Wilson cry. John Weaver made Steve Schmidt feel like that 13-year-old boy who was assaulted once again by Gay Ray. Once again, if that happened, I feel.
Where is that, by the way?
It's a public Twitter account. I tweeted at one point that I said I wanted to scream from the top of my lungs.
But that wasn't a video. That was just written.
That was a 10-page resignation letter where the first 4 pages are about Gay Ray and being a 13-year-old boy being touched. Once again, horrible. Shouldn't happen. I feel terrible for him. But that has nothing to do with the situation.
Literally nothing, yeah.
So, we all have life experiences. I've gone on, we've all had bad life experiences. We could all sit there and talk about to deflect from our shortcomings as adults. None of it matters, though. So, what does, it's so clear PR nonsense to keep supporters donating. Yeah. But listen, if Cuomo could win an Emmy for his COVID response, then
no, he deserves it, though. He did a great job. Everyone believed that he was not a sociopath. Not everyone, but people believed, I almost think that was that is just the grossest weaponization. I was abused by people, and so I feel terrible. Yeah, it's like, why don't we start a foundation for the healing of Rick Wilson, his children, and what's his name?
And he's. Listen. I feel terrible that his kids allegedly got Twitter DMs that were, threatening to them. That's bad. No one should do that. Not saying they should. You are also a public figure, and you put your children at the burden of being a public figure. I'm not Rick Wilson well known at all, but I certainly go out in public and I do media appearances. I know there's a certain responsibility that comes with that, and I hear from it constantly. Trust me, I do, from my own family and friends. But I make that personal choice.
Right.
There's zero accountability for him. There's conflicting things constantly within his own video that makes it so obvious that his apology is worthy of questioning.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Do you want to play the rest of it?
Yeah.
The people that he exploited, the people that he attempted to manipulate. If you want to come to us and speak out, speak to us. If you want to speak out in public, speak out in public. If you want to talk to the news media, talk to the news media. We encourage you to do so. We hope you'll do so. We'll be here for you and with you. We will keep this this matter. If you want to keep it quiet and just want to yell at me or yell at Steve or yell at Reed or yell at Stewart or yell at any of us and say, how did you not know? I'll talk to you till the phone's dead. Okay. We'll keep it quiet if you want it quiet. We'll put it out if you want it put out. We believe in transparency. We believe in honesty. We believe in directness. We're going to give you that at every turn. I hope that you will continue to repose the confidence you've shown in us for the last year. We will earn it from you every day.
Earn it.
We'll keep this mission going. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Look at what it says on the right. It says Rick Wilson addresses. Oh, and then it advertises his show.
Yeah.
The breakdown Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time.
Yes.
And so that's good. That's good. It has he's branding his apology. And
that's what Steve Schmidt did too. Steve Schmidt said, if you want to catch me now, you catch me on Bill Maher tonight. Like,
oh my God.
What?
And then we also have, look at this. Look, Rick Wilson addresses John Weaver's deception for the first time on camera on the breakdown. So it's not that like it's like the deception.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the praying. It's not, it never mentions the adults ever in the video. Right. It's the 14-year-old boy, which is because that's the criminal aspect of it. He kind of references my article subtly in the video. He says, when these things came out weeks ago, he releases this video, I think either the day of the New York Times or the day after. So he's referencing the article of mine that he clearly read.
Right. This was on February 2nd.
So, and the article came out January 31st. So the New York Times one. So it's 2 days afterwards. So obviously the New York Times article didn't come out weeks before. It came out just 48 hours before. And you're mentioning articles that came out weeks ago. So you read my article and you clearly didn't think that John Weaver sexually harassing adult young men and using his power for jobs was important then. You only thought it was important when the New York Times got involved.
Right.
So once again, like, and I'm thankful, by the way, that the New York Times got involved. I'm not putting down the New York Times for this. I'm saying though that they are clearly using this to kind of it only became important enough to talk about once the New York Times was getting involved.
Right. Yeah.